Hello, welcome to this video, and this video is called Essential Progressive Rock Albums, episode 157,289. That number's not real, I'm just not keeping count, but I know those of you who watch things like this, you like to have a number because you're a progressive rock fan. And some of you will go, oh no, there's no way Andy could have done 100,000 videos. That's impossible. Yeah, it is impossible because it's not true. I don't always tell the truth on my YouTubes, and I'm quite truthful about it. Sometimes I don't tell the truth. I'm not Ian. No one can stop me telling the truth. But today I am going to try my best to tell the truth, because the album I'm offering to you that is essential for any progressive rock fan is this, The Whole Story by Kate Bush. Now, I believe Kate Bush to be a progressive rock artist. I believe her to be one of perhaps the greatest female progressive rock artist of all time, if you want to make that sort of division, which is a bit stupid now I've said it, which I hadn't. And she also had a whole ton of hit records. She's one of the UK's greatest songwriters. She's one of the biggest selling artists for the 1980s. She is so important. So the question is she progressive rock? Some of you will be shouting, no, there's no Mellotrons and it's not in 7/8, and then you won't like it for that, you know. So, and some of you will say, no, she's more art rock, which is always the thing when people have had hit records, so they call it art rock. I would say she is progressive rock full out. She has done more than her fair share of sidelong epics. She writes songs about witches. She writes songs about Gurdjieff. She writes songs about ghosts. She is full on progressive rock. Without a doubt, she's full on progressive rock. But she has created a style of music which is as unique to her as Genesis is to Genesis, as Yes is to Genesis, as Yes is to Yes. I will be able to say this. Don't worry. I'm going to King Crimson, and you've tripped yourself up with that. And it was a good point as well. Never mind. What we have here is a single album. I was just double checking. It's a single album that pulls together all her sort of hit records. So why have I put this one forward and not put something like The Dreaming or Never Forever, which for a prog fan, you're possibly best going for Never Forever. If you're a prog fan, you want to get the closest to what you would think is 70s prog, because it's got a little bit of a 70s prog sound. If you want to get sort of conceptual, then you're going to get Hounds of Love with the big sidelong, The Ninth Wake, the big sidelong epic where she wakes witches and does all that sort of stuff. But if you're a fair weather, if you're a fair weather fan of other styles, you're a prog fan, you think, well, I only want to get one album by Kate Bush. Excuse me. This is the one to get, because what you just have is a list of some of the greatest songs ever written. I'll show you the album. This is the vinyl album that came out. When did this come out? It was in 1986. So the record company would capitalise on the fact that she's just done the Hounds of Love and she sold so many records. And at that point, she'd been around only for about 8 years, you know, but there was enough for them to go, we're ready for a best of. And then we have this one, which is called The Whole Story. On the back, we have a image from her cloud busting video of Kate pretending to be a boy operating a machine that Donald Sutherland, the late great Donald Sutherland, has made that could actually make clouds make it rain. You can see in the background there's no clouds there, but once she starts operating that, it will be able to make clouds work. And that is based upon a Russian scientist that was experimenting in those areas and eventually got taken away by the Russians. I've gone into an area I haven't researched, but the fact is that's the sort of subject matter that Kate Bush sings about, and for me that's really what makes it prog. What have we got on here? Of course, we've got her first single that went straight to #1, Wuthering Heights, which is based upon the book Wuthering Heights, which is all about ghosts and the Yorkshire moors and Cathy and Heathcliff, with her incredible vocal. Now, she was basically like a child prodigy. She was writing incredible songs at the age of 12. She grew up in a musical family. They had connections, and those connections were able to get a few demos to Dave Gilmour from Pink Floyd, who did the very kind thing of actually funding her to record demos that then went to a record company. Eventually, she was offered a record deal. In the height of punk, she comes in and records what is pretty much a very proggy album, but she has so much charisma. She looks amazing. And her vocal style is so unique. And I think Wuthering Heights almost gets to #1 on it, almost like being a novelty record. So Opens up with Wuthering Heights, and then we have the aforementioned Cloud Busting, which is off Hounds of Love. And then we have the Man with the Child in His Eyes, which I think she wrote when she was about 14 years old, which I believe is based upon the film The Ghost of Mrs. Muir. You get the feeling in the early days that Kate Bush is a very little, she's a kind of middle-class girl, and she dreams. And her own life has been quite small up until that point, but she's got an imagination, and her imagination comes out through films, Hammer horror films and all this, and she pulls those elements in and has a way of almost becoming the characters that are in these films. So she doesn't have one vocal style, and often she'll adjust her vocal style by, like, she's an actor. And I believe that The Man with the Child's Eyes is based upon a 1940s film, The Ghost of Mrs. Muir. We would have to see. Number 4 is Breathing, which is off Never Forever, which is the she is exploring the idea of a sort of dystopian nuclear apocalypse seen through the eyes of a baby in a fetus. If this isn't prog, what is? Then we have Wow, and Wow is a very odd song which is off the second album, Lionheart, which was sort of pulled together and is probably, it's a brilliant album. It's not one of her great albums. Wow is really great. It's one of the great songs off, and it was a hit record. And Wow explores the world of the actor. And it's got some quite politically correct references to a thing that an activity, let us say, that gay actors may indulge in. I'm not saying they do. Then we have, this album finishes up with Hounds of Love, massive hit off that album. And then side 2 opens up with Running Up That Hill, which of course recently became the biggest song on the planet again, because it was included in some teeny film, which at the time I did a video on, and now, you know, months later, I can't even remember what the thing was that they did, some weird horror film, 80s horror film anyway. Number 8, Army Dreamers, which explores ideas around the sort of war going on at that time between Northern Ireland and Southern Ireland, backed by the UK with the IRA involved, and she actually sings that in an Irish accent. Who else would have a hit record singing in an accent? This is all incredible. She's one of the greatest artists of all time, Kate is. Then we have Sat in Your Lap, which is off perhaps her most out there album and my favourite album, The Dreaming, where she has a hit record, because this was a hit record, singing about Gnosticism. Yes, she's singing about Gnosticism on that one. Experiment 4 was, it wasn't on any album, and that made all us Kate Bush fans have to go and buy this. And there was a video that went with that, and if I remember, it was about sort of these weird experiments that create strange viruses, all the sort of David Cronenberg stuff that, you know, he was going on about. Of course, you know, the idea that a lab would create a virus that would then affect the whole world is absolutely ridiculous. It's just basically science fiction, but, you know, she loves to explore science fiction. And 11, we have The Dreaming, which is this sort of look at the world through the eyes of an Aborigine in Australia. Now, I'm not too sure. I think that has got Rolf Harris on, hasn't it? And she also did a whole album with Rolf on, and she's had to take him all off because he turned out to be a horrible little nasty little man and had to go to prison for it, that's the one little scourge on Kate, on our lovely Kate. And then it finishes up with Babushka, which is about a housewife that tricks her husband into thinking that she's some sort of she-devil by writing him letters. And it's famous for the video where she, you know, opens up next to a double bass with the big veil on, and then suddenly she transforms into a she-devil. One of the great transformations in rock, something that I can remember as a young man watching when it came out, because I was used to such displays of sexuality on British television. But Kate could do that and at the same time remain artistic and creative and beautiful. I absolutely love Kate Bush. There we go. We're done. If you like this video, stick a like on it. If you want to see some more, you can subscribe by hitting the subscription button, the subscribe button. It says subscribe, press that and you'll be subscribed. Us YouTubers, we judge ourselves on how many subscribers we've got. So if you're not subscribed, just go and click it now, because I want to get up to 40,000. 40,000 is another level. I mean, I really want to get to 100,000, but that's a long way off. But when I get to 100,000, I get one of them silver square things that I can stick on the wall behind me, and then I'll be a proper YouTuber. By the time I get to that, I'll probably be pretty old, and that's my last life's ambition. That's the last one. Once I've got my silver plaque, I will then be able to die. So if you want me to get to that point where I can die, you know, happy sooner, yeah, I don't want you doing that now. Don't subscribe. If you want to become a patron and support me, you can, and the link is down below. And if you want to support me financially, I have a YouTube chip jar, and the link is down below. We're done. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. A nice little short one, new thing I'm trying out. I hope it works out, because this is really easy. It's not like me talking about philosophy for now, which nobody wants to hear. You just want to hear me talking about music, which is what I'm trying to do now. 10 minutes, like what I started 3 years ago. 10-minute video, there you go, bang, big sposh bush. No adverts in there, I'd hardly make any money out of it. It just doesn't matter, because money doesn't matter, does it? What matters is delivering information about the prog. That's what you're here to do, Andy. And if you're not doing that, you're not doing your job. And you don't deserve to get anything more. If you can't do the basic job that you've been put on earth to do, which is come on here and talk about prog, then you shouldn't be here, should you? You know. So that's what I'm here for. Right, I'm done. Bye.